Welcome everybody to our second project of this course, which would be a vulnerability scanner. Alright, so what we did by now is we created our port scanner, which managed to scan multiple targets as well as one target, and also discover which ports were open and closed, and we also managed to discover some of the softwares running on those open ports. Alright, right now we want to advance our game and create a vulnerability scanner which will be able to detect which of those softwares are potentially vulnerable to some type of the attack. So there are a few approaches that we can do in order to create this. I picked one which is going to be based on our port scanner, meaning that we are first going to import our port scanner, we're going to scan for the open ports, then we're going to create a list of vulnerable softwares in a txt file, which then we're going to also import into our program, and then we're going to compare the softwares on the open ports with the softwares named in the list or in our txt file, and if they do match, that means that we discovered a vulnerable software which can be exploited. Alright, now you can actually download some of these vulnerable softwares list over the internet, or for the purposes of this tutorial you can simply just create a small list of a few softwares like I will in order to test our program. But before we do any of that, let us open up our PyCharm and create our new project. Alright, so I will open up my PyCharm by going here and typing PyCharm. Here it is, it loaded fully, and by default it will open up our previous project, which will be the port scanner project, but we do not want to continue coding inside of that project. We want to create a new one, and then we are going to copy paste the port scanner into that new project. Alright, so let's wait for it to reopen all of the files from the port scanner project. Okay, so here it is. Now let's go onto the file right here, click on the new project. Under the create new project, in the location, we can create a name for our new project, which would be vulnerability, or let's just type vuln scanner. It doesn't really matter, you can call it anything you want, and then click on create. It will ask you whether you want to open the project inside of this window or whether you want to create a new window for it. We can simply just create this window and it will open up the new project that we just created. Alright, so here it is, it's creating all the dependencies needed. And right now what we're going to do, we're going to open up our terminal. We are going to navigate to our port scanner project using our terminal, and then we'll copy our port scanner to the vulnerability scanner. Right, so let's go to the PyCharm projects. If I type ls, here are both of these. Then we want to navigate to the port scanner, type ls once again, and we want to copy the port scanner.py into the vulnerability scanner directory. Alright, so cp port scanner.py to the root, PyCharm, and then vulnerability scanner. Press enter, and in just a few seconds we should see our port scanner right here. Okay, so here it is. Let's open it up. And here is our program. Now, as I mentioned previously, we're going to base our vulnerability scanner onto this port scanner right here, but we're not going to code it right in this program. We're simply just going to import our port scanner as I showed you in the previous video how you can do that, and we're going to perform some small modifications to this program right here. For example, we want to make this program a class. So we're going to delete some of the functions right here, we're going to modify this part of the program, and we're going to create this to be one giant class, alright? But more about that in the next tutorial. For now on, we just simply copy this, we created our new project, and in the next video we're ready to start coding our vulnerability scanner, alright? So, see you there and take care, bye!